Hey everyone, welcome back to another movie review and another one of my videos. And today, of course, I'm going to talk and do a review, actually a retrospective review on this movie because it deserves it. And the movie that I'm talking about is Liar Liar, which came out in 1997, was released on March 18 in Los Angeles premiere, but was in movie theaters released in March 21, 1997. And this is one of Jim Carrey's best films. Trust me, Liar Liar. The most outrageous funny comedy of all time, the best movie ever. I love this movie to death. One of the best 90s court movies, about court movies ever. And Jim Carrey is one of my favorite comedians. He's a badass. I mean, he's the best comedian ever. And I love Liar Liar. And I have to do a retrospective review on this movie because this movie is definitely one of the best 90s movies, As you know, I'm a huge fan of Jim Carrey. He's one of my favorite comedians. I reviewed Dumb and Dumber, which is my favorite Jim Carrey movie he did. I reviewed The Mask. I also reviewed that movie, I reviewed Batman Forever. Some asshole gave me a dislike. I reviewed that movie, The Deadpool, which was for Dirty Harry, for Clint Eastwood. But I want to review a movie that Jim Carrey pulled it off, and I love this movie dearly to death. I got it yesterday on Blu-ray. And you know what? I rewatched this movie twice. Twice I watched it yesterday and today. I rewatched it again because I have so fun. This movie is so funny. It's outrageous funny. Carrey is screamingly funny because I agree. The back, Carrey is screamingly funny and the truth shall set you free. This movie is a fantastic movie. It's outrageous funny. Jim Carrey knows how to act. I mean, he was at the top of his game that time, in the 90s. He was in the game, But I love to death Liar Liar, one of his best movies ever. This will be actually my third favorite movie that he did, because my top three favorite Jim Carrey movies are Dumb and Dumber, The Mask, and Liar Liar. He was the top of the game. And he was the main star, he did all the stunts, everything he did in this movie himself, the acting performance, the dialogue, everything was fantastic, Liar Liar talks about Fletcher Reed, played by Jim Carrey. He's a divorce attorney, he has ex-wife, he has he has a 4-year-old son, which is gonna turn 5, in few days. And he's actually more focusing himself on his career as a divorce lawyer. He wants to become in his firm partner, and he lies all the time and wins every case. He's really good at his job, his profession. He wants to be he wants to have the most successful career, and he spent less time with his son and with his ex-wife. Ex-wife. She's a teacher. She's now actually dating for 7 months. Another man. I think they both divorced. She's dating this man who's actually, I think he's a doctor. I think he's the main surgeon or the doctor who's actually has to run the hospital. And he goes and proposes Audrey, Fletcher's ex-wife, if she would marry, and if she would move with him to Boston, and Audrey does not tell that news to Fletcher, and his son, Fletcher Reed's son Max. That's Max, he goes and he actually goes and celebrate his 5th year his birthday. And his biggest wish is that his dad will attend it. His biggest wish is that his dad will attend his birthday party, but sadly that doesn't happen. Fletcher Reed is actually caught in a new case. He gets actually a new case. He actually gets a new case. He has to go and he has to go in this divorce case and has to defend this woman, Samantha Cole. Samantha Cole is played by Jennifer Tilly. She did an amazing job. Jennifer Tilly plays a scumbag, a cheating, unfaithful filth of a wife who wants to have the half of her husband, asset. She wants half of his money, $11 million, and because the boss, the firm, I think it was Miranda, she is looking for someone that will take the case, but many of the lawyers said no. I'm not gonna lie, so she had to find someone to win, to win the case and get the money, get big bucks. And she chooses Fletcher Reed, because the man will do anything for his career, so he accepts the case, the divorce case, and he goes, he accepts the case, and all he wants is to be partner, and Amanda goes and seduces him, and of course, Fletcher Reed misses his, he goes and misses the son's birthday party and makes an excuse to his ex-wife Audrey, so he has sex, and at 8:15, his son Max wishes that his dad will not lie for a day. That he wishes, his biggest wish is that his dad, he wouldn't lie for a day, because in the opening sequence, we see when there's actually kids in school, they ask what your parents are actually do, what's their professions, when the school teacher asks them, and his son Max says, my dad is a liar. Liar, what do you mean? His dress, he goes to court dressed in that suit. Oh, you mean a lawyer? Oh, you could say that, he calls him a liar. So instead, the sex is more important than his son's birthday. And yes, he's a selfish prick and a selfish asshole. He even calls himself a selfish prick and an asshole, because he is that time, and Max wishes that his dad will refuse to lie for a day till 8:15. And that really happens, after 8:15, when that passes, that's actually suddenly magic. And now Jim Carrey as Fletcher Reed cannot lie. And when Amanda asked him, or when Miranda asked him, how was it? He says, I had better. And she goes and throws him out. It was funny, and he's like throw out. His mouth says I had better. He wakes up. He goes and brushes his teeth. And says I had better. And Jim Carrey was outrageous funny. And somehow he finds out he can't lie, and something's going on with him, he can't lie, he keeps saying the truth, and he meets Krista Allen, this girl, in the elevator, and he keeps flirting with her, and says, your tits are bigger. I want to squeeze them, your tits. Or he says, Mama, and she goes, punches him, she punches him, she goes and punches him. Oh my God. Or there's this secretary with her hair. She looks like outrageous funny with her hair. Oh my God. Oh my God, Jim Carrey was outrageous funny. He was fantastic. I forgot to mention, he goes, he and his son Max, they go to the office. I forgot to mention that scene that they go to the office, and he forgot to buy him a birthday gift, but his secretary Greta gives him a birthday, it was a baseball, and he completely forgotten, everything he completely forgotten. Then he goes, and calls Audrey, and he tells her the truth, he actually, when he had sex, he promised that he was gonna pick up his son, and he tells her, that he had sex, and she said, yeah, I hope it's something special. He says, no, I wanted to get my career, I don't even like her, and he throws the phone, destroys the phone, calls her back, tells her, I'm gonna come over. He goes, rushes into her car, speeds, he gets pulled over, he even wrapped himself up that he has tons of unpaid tickets, his car gets taken away. He gets to the cab, tries to talk with Audrey because she was waiting and he was late, they go to the compound to get the car, and she goes and pays him instead, that he will pay the damage for his car, the fine. She pays him, she bails him over, and he finds on the car a scratch and said, look what you did to my scratch. And the guy says, you know what I'm gonna do? Nothing. Drag you to the court. It's gonna take me 8 hours, and you probably won't show up, and I'm probably gonna lose, so I'm just gonna jerk around and pie and wine. That's it, And the guy says, you ready to work here, and throws her the keys, and Audrey tells her she's gonna get married and they're going to move. Boston says, no, I'm gonna not see my son ever again, and then he admits, that he's actually a bad father. And she said, you're not a bad father. Yeah, I am a bad father, and she says, I don't care what you do, I don't care about sex, I don't care what the hell you're doing, but it's matter to Max, it matters to him, and she tells him that his son wished, that 8:15, that wished that his father will not lie for a day, and then he figures out, goes to the school and takes his son and tells him, can you reverse that, can you reverse the wish? So his son does that, but says, when I wished, I meant it, this time it's because they told me to, and doesn't work. He goes to that girl, gets punched, doesn't work, I also love the scenes, when Jim Carrey goes in his office and takes, the red pen and says, the color, actually the blue pen, the blue pen, he takes the blue pen and says, the color of this pen is the color of this pen is royal blue. He goes, grabs his arm, right, stop it, look, he goes back with his hand, he goes, wow, I'm gonna break it, and he wrote blue, and he goes to writes his head blue. I was laughing my ass off. I mean, Jim Carrey was outrageous funny, he was awesome, Oh my god, I love this scene. He gets to go to the court to defend Samantha Cole. He goes in the court and he was so funny, Oh my god. Oh my god, he was awesome. I can't remember all the funny gags, the funny scenes that Jim Carrey did, but he was awesome. One of the most craziest lawyers I have ever seen, And he has to go to proceed, and he meets his opponent, another defense attorney, Dana Appleton, played by Swoosie Kurtz, Dana Appleton is actually his opponent, and he goes, and he makes some funny scenes. I forgot to say, he makes a completely funny scenes, Give me some funny scenes. I was laughing my ass off, Oh my god. And he tries to find, try to delay this process, but the judge, says no, it was already delayed. Do you have any excuse? He doesn't have any excuse, so it's over. So it's actually all over, so he has no idea how to get the fuck out, he can lose his job, he can get fired, his career is on the stake, he can't lie, because he's good at it, he's actually good at lying, and he can't lie, and he's afraid he's gonna lose the case, and that's what he tries to talk, and I actually love when Dan Evans says, "Oh, you wanna play? I'm hardball," and he goes, "Maybe I'm hardball," He was great, and the bitch goes, "What the hell is wrong with you?" It was funny, Oh my god. And he tries to find out how to get out of this mess, that he gets himself. So the case, the divorce case keeps continue. He tries to find out, also he makes a mistake when he confesses to his secretary that he is not actually, that he can't lie, that he's terrible, he can't lie, that he tells the truth, and she finds out, and she quits, and she finds out that he lied all the time, and she says, "Mr. Reed, I had a friend, and a cat burglar, he landed on her kitchen knife and get himself stabbed, and he went and he sued my friend, and my friend had to pay him a $6,000 damage. How is that a justice? Is that a justice?" And Fletcher says, "No, I will give him for 10. And she's like, "Oh," and she leaves. Oh my god, I was laughing. He goes to the knee, and he can't. There's another scene that I found was laughing when he runs, and he tries to get out of the office. He goes in the elevator, and he sees Amanda. She says, "Fletcher," and says, "Holy hell," and runs, and she says, "You can run, but you can't hide." I wish that Miranda would be in this cover, but she wasn't. It was awesome, and I saw Miranda hears his confession to Greta that he can't lie, so she invites him, to talk to the board members, to the boss, of this firm. And she asks him, "What do you think of Mr. Allen?" He says, that he's a bastard, and he goes in the office and says that he thinks he's a bastard, and no one takes him serious. They're all laughing, and I was like laughing my ass off, and he goes, assaults everyone, they're all laughing, they're joking about, and he says, "Idiot, loser, wimp, degenerate," and he goes right to points on Amanda. Miranda. He points on Miranda, slut, and she's like, "Oh!" It was like laughable. Oh my god, Jim Carrey, you're great. He's great, Jim Carrey. Idiot, loser, wimp, degenerate, slut. Oh my god, I was laughing my ass off, this movie. Oh my god, Jim Carrey is fantastic in this movie. He's awesome. He's great. He's so funny. The jokes are awesome. So he goes down in the court. He tries to figure out what to do next, and he drinks too much water, and then he tries to talk to the witness. He tries to talk to the witness. And there's a videotape, in which I think was a private investigator who followed Mrs. Cole, and he was taping them, and he said, and of course, Fletcher says, "Objection! How is that? Is that Mr. Cole himself?" And she says, "Oh, you're better than my husband." He's, oh my god, he falls down, he goes, falls down and puts his paper on his head, or he goes, "I can't lie," or he says, "I had a bad sex episode." Oh my god, I was laughing my ass off, so Yeah, so Jim Carrey, he tries to talk to the witness. Then he remember, can I have a break? Can I actually have a break? And he gets a bathroom break. He goes to pee, and wow, and starts. He goes, now I'm gonna kick myself. He goes kicking himself, grabs the soap in his face. Oh my god, that hurt. He kicks his leg in the heater. He goes and slamming himself in urination. With the desk, boom, boom. Jim Carrey really did that. He goes and kicks himself. He throws him on the floor, throws him in the wall. This guy, looks, what the hell are you doing? I am kicking my ass. Do you mind? Or this guy, his secretary Greta says, this guy asking for legal advice. He broke some EMT machine, and he grabs the phone and says, stop breaking the law, asshole. Oh my god, Jim Carrey was awesome. I am kicking my ass, do you mind? And he goes kick himself, throws himself in the walls. Then he shows in the court, and Josh asks him who did that. It was a madman, Your Honor. It was a madman. I was laughing my ass off. Oh my god! And so he got the contempt, so postponed the case. But once again, he asked him, unless you're capable to proceed, so he has no choice to proceed, and of course, Fletcher does not want to settle, but his client deserves to settle, so he has no choice, and he says, can't you get it? I can't lie, I can't lie, we're gonna lose. And she says, listen, I'm not gonna lose my, I'm not gonna lose the money. I want my money, because my scumbag lawyer, he has a panic of a conscience, and I'm a 30-year-old. He goes 30-year-old, and then and of course, there's a scene when he meets the lover, when she cheated. I forgot that guy. I wrote Kenneth Falk, and Kenneth Falk gets on stand, and he goes, "Did you fuck her? Did you slam her? Did you liar?" He goes, "Liar! Objection! Can you describe the platonic relationship between you and Mrs. Cole?" "Objection! Yourself overruled." "Can you the sex profession?" "Objection, Your Honor." Can you sound like he goes? "Yeah, I did, and Samantha, and of course he finds how to win the case. He says, "Hey, I'm calling to Samantha Cole to the stand, and he finds out that she was that time minor, and he goes, Can you tell me this list? Are you blonde?" "Brunette." "I can't hear you. Blonde? A brunette." "What's the weight?" 118. No, okay, 127. What says that your year born 1965. "When year you were born?" And she goes, 1964. "So, Your Honor, my client lied about her age, and so that time in the California state means that she was a minor when she got married, and she in the law, demands that she gets half of the settlement, So Fletcher Reed wins the case, but she won. She just got $11 million, but she wants different. That time we found out that Samantha Cole is a scumbag, just like she described Jim Carrey's character. She's actually a scumbag because she wants to hit him that hard and wants to take his kids away, the last settlement, and the case is then dismissed. There's another stand that they're gonna do with agreement. And there's also when he goes and starts the Dana, and he goes and argue with her, and she goes, bastard, hag. Oh my god. And that time, that time he finds out that he made a mistake. He goes to his honor, and tells him, that they made a mistake, that this girl, that they made actually mistake, that this girl, that this man was a good father, and he gets contempt. Says, you can't contempt, I'm gonna contempt myself. And the Judge Stevens goes to arrest him. He tries to call Audrey. She says we're leaving. He gets postponed. Actually, the bail gets paid by his ex secretary, Greta. So he then finds out that he wants Max. He wants his son. So he runs, the airport, and that was a funny scene in the airport. He couldn't go to the costume. He put the bag. He was drove himself with the bag. Opens the bag. And he goes and steals the stairway, airplane stairway, drives the stairway, says, oh thanks, it works, fantastic, goes, to the stairway, and he goes to the airplane and tries to find his son and tries to stop him, He goes and tries to stop him, he wants to stop him, and says, stop, and that's what he does, but he so that the pilot stops the plane and he crashes, he lands, kicks himself in the luggage. Was awesome, was funny, so he's been taken to the hospital, but he says to Audrey that he doesn't want that they leave, that he loves his son, that he's a bad father, he wants to change that, and so Jerry, Carrey, he goes to Boston, he has to run the hospital, but Fletcher decides to change, himself, that his son is more important than actually anything. He's more important, than his career, and a year later when Max wishes he has another birthday, and he wants to wish, now he gets back with Audrey, they both kiss, and then of course Fletcher saved his family, and the movie of course ends, and it was a fantastic movie. Directed by Tom Shadyac. This was actually the second collaboration between Jim Carrey and Tom Shadyac. The first one was Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, and the third movie was Bruce Almighty, which I saw it. But this movie is outrageous funny. It's a fantastic movie. I'm glad to have this on Blu-ray. I think that Tom Shadyac did a fantastic direction. I think that brilliant acting performance by Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey was actually nominated for a Golden Globe Award for Best Actor in Comedy. And he was paid $20 million, and Jim Carrey, he actually declined the offer for Austin Powers because he wanted to do this movie. And when he read the script, he loved the character, and he said, and he was happy finally he plays a normal person, and he got into his character so much that he actually got home exhausted. But Jim Carrey, he actually loved the character. It was the gags, the lines. Tom Shadyac did a fantastic direction, great direction, brilliant performance by Jim Carrey. And what I love about this film, is that Jim Carrey does everything in this movie. He's like one-man army, not an action, but he's one-man army in a comedy. He's alone. He has no help. No one helps him. He wins the case himself. I do wish that we could have a happy ending for Richard Cole. But I don't know why was that cut. I guess they wanted to have shortened this movie. But yeah, that actually was. But Yeah, so written was by Paul Gouet and Steven Mazur, which they both wrote a screenplay. Great outlines, great screenplay, great story. Um, but it's not the story. It's not about the comedy. It's actually about the lesson. About a parent. That he finds that he's a bad father, and he finds out. Through the lies. The truth. He finds out that he the most important in his life is not the career. It's his son. If he wants something to do, he has to give it to his son. His son is more important, and that's what I love in this movie. That's why it's a retrospective review on Jim Carrey's Liar Liar, because he deserves it. Liar Liar is a fantastic comedy. It's a really funny comedy. I mean, Jim Carrey pull it off. It's one of my favorite movies. Really, actually, so far, third movie. I grew up with Dumb and Dumber as a kid. I watched the VHS tape, the theatrical version. I watched cartoons, and The Mask is also the second favorite. That's one of the reasons. But Liar Liar, I saw in high school the VHS tape, and I really enjoyed the film. It was so great that I watched it twice. The music score was done by by I think was I forgot who it was. I think was by John Dabney was actually the music score. I think it was by John Dabney. The music score was actually a really good one. But the cast, Maura Tierney as Audrey, she actually did a good job as Audrey. The ex-wife of Fletcher Rich did a good job. Cary Elwes is actually the bad guy. He also was the bad guy in Days of Thunder with Tom Cruise. He was the good guy in Crash, and he's in this movie. He's actually Audrey's boyfriend, and actually her fiance. Justin Cooper as Max, that same Justin Cooper did a good job. He did a good job. And also, I have to give a credits to Amanda Donahue. That's one of the reasons I mixed up her name, because with Miranda, it's not look like Amanda, but Amanda Donahue, the British actress, she did a fantastic job. I love when Fletcher says "Holy hell" and runs away, and she says, "You can run, but you can't hide." I love that. Jennifer Tilly, fantastic job. Jim Carrey and Jennifer Tilly did really get along. I think all the cast, Jim Carrey did get along with all the cast. All the cast were fantastic. I watched. I watched. The special features. The picture quality for this movie is fantastic. It's actually universal. Show you the disc. Liar Liar, this is the disc. The picture quality is beautiful on Blu-ray. The bonus features, there's a deleted scene. In the open scene was Randall Ted, that actor who was in MacGyver. He was in that movie with Gene Hackman. Uncommon Valor, he was in that movie, Uncommon Valor. I think he was also in Ace Ventura. He was the bald cue ball, in the open scene. But there is a scene, in which Fletcher wins the case, with Randall Tex cop in it. But that scene is deleted. That is the only deleted scene in the film. Feature commentary with director Tom Shadyac, bridging the comedy chasm, which Jim Carrey was talking about his how he enjoy working, with Tom. they both love the film. Tom and Jim Carrey get along. They actually both work very well. Jim Carrey loved acting. Fletcher Reed. It was a great experience. There's a theatrical trailer. But yeah, my favorite scene, definitely scene with the elevator lady. I wanna squeeze your nipples. Your breasts are bigger. She goes and punches him. He says, "Mama," and he goes punches him. That scene is awesome. That scene is fantastic. But Jim Carrey pulled it off. He's awesome. He's fantastic. The budget for this movie was $45 million. It was worldwide. It made $302 million, which was a very successful film. It deserves it. Opening weekend in US and Canada was $31 million. Gross in US and Canada, $180 million. Made through $302 million worldwide. That's awesome. Also, the scene when Jim Carrey was kicking his ass. There's no sounds. Those are really screams from Jim Carrey. He really did kick himself. That was done for real. And like I said, Jim Carrey did everything. He did his own stunts, and he was driving that stairway vehicle. On the stairways. The flight stairways. When he was driving, he did all his own stunts. All the stunts he did himself. He acted, he performed, he did everything, So yes, Liar Liar, fantastic movie. Jason Bernard, who actually played Judge Marshall Stevenson. This was actually his final role. After this movie was completed, he died after heart attack. So this movie is dedicated to Jason Bernard. He did a good job as Judge Marshall Stevenson. After this movie completed, he died. Jim Carrey was paid $20 million. And this movie was released in 1997 when I was actually 13 years old. In my country was released in June, but this was in 1997. And Jim Carrey was at the top of his career. He was at the top of his career, at the top of his peak, and this is how he do. There are actually 3 comedies, from the 90s about the court. The first one is My Cousin Vinny. That movie has a higher score on IMDb. And yes, I liked My Cousin Vinny. There's also Trial and Error, came out the same year as Liar Liar. All 3 movies are great, but this will be my favorite of the courtroom. Even though I love Trial and Error, that will be my second favorite. But this will be my favorite because of Jim Carrey, and I love Jim Carrey, and I had to talk about this film. If you don't have this movie, I recommend that you buy it. I got it really cheap. I wanted, when I did reviews last month, for Jim Carrey, The Mask, Dumb and Dumber, I actually saw that someone is selling Jim Carrey films, but 9 DVDs for 47 euros. And I said, when I asked him, he wanted 8 euros for 1 DVD. That's kind of way too expensive. So instead, my friend ordered me this movie on Blu-ray. I got better picture quality, better than fucking DVD. I got a high picture quality, theater quality sound, fantastic sound. The picture is awesome. I got this movie on Blu-ray, and I love this movie to death. My retrospective review is the lesson. Respect your kids. Give your kids. Are actually more important than your career. Even though you're working for really hard, but this is what this movie tries to tell you. It tries to tell you that kids are more important. And yes, this is my respective review on Liar Liar. I love this movie to death. The acting performance, the comedy, that's my retrospective review. I love this movie to death. One of my all-time favorite 90s comedies. Anyway, that's my movie review retrospective. Thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time. I'm out. Peace. Bye bye.